has got to be it. This has got to be it.
Hi, Ryan. Happy summer break.
John, where's your wife? Where is the mothership?
She's in the kitchen. Ryan's here.
Hey, Ryan. How did you know where I live?
Yeah, I've been wandering around San Francisco. I've been knocking on doors for the past few hours trying to figure it out. Your neighbors are very friendly, by the way.
You could have just called me.
There's no time for that. We need to talk about what is happening. Biden dropped out of the presidential race.
Well, the summer break was fun while it lasted. Now, Ryan, take a deep breath. We know what to do. Time to get an episode out. I'm Tracy Leeds Kaplan.
And I'm Ryan Willard. It's Monday, July 22nd, and this is a 10 News special report.
10,
9,
8,
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I know we're technically on summer break, but thank you for letting me into your home and sharing this spaghetti with me.
I never said you could go in my fridge. Those leftovers were for dinner tonight.
Cap, we got to stay focused here. Joe Biden just said he's dropping out of the presidential race and won't seek re-election. What does this mean? What in the gooseberries is happening up in this landmass we call North America? And do you have any extra sauce to go with this spaghetti? It's a little dry.
Well, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this before. And I know you can get pretty worked up, Rye. So let's focus on the facts and the election process in place.
Yes, this is so much better with extra sauce. I've got questions. Why did President Biden leave the presidential race?
That's a great question, Rye. There were a lot of discussions over the past few weeks about if he was ready for the campaign and if he could get voters excited enough to show up and vote for him. A lot of voters were concerned about his age and his ability to run the country for another 4 years. It was a really big decision that he made, and a lot of people are now praising President Biden for taking this step. In his announcement about leaving the presidential race, President Biden said, "And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term."
And he endorsed Vice President Harris, so does that mean she's the nominee now? She has a pretty cool background. Before she was VP, Vice President Harris was the District Attorney of San Francisco, the Attorney General of California, and the first Black and South Asian American woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate.
She isn't the nominee just yet. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Let's call our constitutional expert, Ben Sheehan, and see if he can answer your next question. He's the best. He's written not one, but 2 books on the Constitution. What does the Constitution say? One for adults and one for kids. Let's see if he's around.
Hey, Tracy, I had a feeling you might call.
Hey, Ben. I'm with Ryan, and we have some questions.
Go for it.
Okay, what does this mean for the election process now that President Biden has left the race?
Well, now that he has left the race, it means that the Democratic Party has to pick a new nominee. And there are a few weeks between now and the Democratic Convention, which is being held on August 19th in Chicago. And that's when the new Democratic nominee will formally be selected. So Vice President Harris has thrown her hat in the ring to be the president, and you may see a few other people contending for the Democratic nomination, but it will be officially selected sometime between August 19th and August 22nd in Chicago.
And who makes this decision?
So the people at the conventions that decide who becomes the official party nominee are called delegates. And in the first half of this year, a bunch of different states held primary elections. And the winners of the primary elections in each state get delegates who promise to vote for that candidate at the party's convention in the summer. So when the Democratic convention takes place on August 19th, there will be 4,700 delegates there to vote on which candidate they want to be the official Democratic Party nominee. 4,000 of these delegates are called pledged delegates, where they are awarded based on primary elections. And 700 of them are known as superdelegates that aren't awarded based on primary elections, but do get a vote anyway at the convention. So whichever candidates for the nomination get the most votes among those delegates gets a majority of votes, that's who becomes the nominee.
If not Vice President Harris, what happens now?
So there are a few different options for what would happen if it is somebody other than Kamala Harris on the ticket. A lot of money gets spent on campaigns. And so if the nominee ends up being Kamala Harris, she will have access to the full amount because she's already on the ticket. She's already part of the campaign. The money that's been raised for the Biden campaign was raised for the Biden-Harris ticket. So if she is still on the ticket, she could use that money. If it ends up being somebody other than Kamala Harris, then they would have access to some of that money, but not all of it. And so there are a few options of what would happen to that money. One option is that it would have to be returned to donors. I think it's a pretty low chance of that happening. Another option would be for the money to be distributed to other outside groups and PACs to use. And then another option is to create a wholly new super PAC and transfer all of the money to that.
And Ben, has this ever happened before? I can't remember anything like this ever happening.
Yeah, it has happened before, actually. It's never happened this late. So having a president, or I should say a candidate for president, drop out this late is pretty unique. That's the latest it's ever happened. But in 1968, LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, announced that he was not going to be seeking re-election on March 31st. So a few months earlier than Biden just did. And that's the previous, in modern history at least, the previous latest time that a president announced that they were not going to be seeking re-election.
All right, that all makes sense. My head was spinning. I appreciate you breaking it all down for us.
Anytime.
Thanks, Ben. Talk to you later. Okay, so there's a lot to still get decided between now and the Democratic Convention. That will take place August 19th through 22nd in Chicago, Illinois. Got it? Ryan? What are you doing in my pantry?
Where do you keep your donuts and s'mores?
Third shelf from the top.
Okay, I'm in Cap's pantry, and I gotta be honest, there is not a lot of cool stuff to report in here.
Hey, Rye, when you're done snooping around my pantry, we gotta talk about Donald Trump's running mate.
Cap, that was a fool's errand. There were no s'mores or donuts in there.
Or maybe I just didn't want you to find them. While you're here, let's talk about the Republican National Convention that happened last week in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, good call. The Republican and Democratic National Conventions are held to officially nominate and confirm the party's candidate for president and vice president while announcing the goals of the party to hopefully unify the party and publicize and launch the presidential campaign. The Republican Convention was a week's worth of speeches and appearances by supporters of the Republican Party, and the big news of the week was Donald Trump announcing his new pick to be his vice president, Senator J.D. Vance.
And just a reminder, Donald Trump's original vice president was Mike Pence. This time, though, Trump decided to pick someone new to run with. Not very surprising, because former President Trump has been very clear that he was upset with Mike Pence for not doing something to stop the election process in 2020 when he lost to President Biden. So now, in 2024, Trump has chosen Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate. Ryan, did you do your research on him?
I did, and I understood the assignment. Here are 5 things you need to know about J.D. Vance. Number 1. J.D. Vance was born James Donald Bowman on August 2nd, 1984. He's 39 years old and is married to Usha Vance.
Number 2. Vance is from Middletown, Ohio. He was elected to represent the state in the United States Senate in 2022.
Number 3. Before he was a senator, he rose to fame in 2016 after writing a New York Times best-selling memoir called Hillbilly Elegy, which is about his life growing up in a working-class family in Ohio. That book was adapted into a feature film starring Amy Adams and is currently streaming on Netflix.
Number 4. During the 2016 election, J.D. Vance was an outspoken critic of Donald Trump. In an interview with Charlie Rose, he said, quote, "I'm a never Trump guy." In that election, he voted for the independent candidate, Evan McMullen.
Number 5. Vance changed his mind about Donald Trump and voted for him in 2020. Since then, Vance has been a big supporter and has shared his vision for a more conservative America if he is elected with Trump. and that is 5 things you need to know about JD Vance.
Come in.
What up, John? Isn't this Owen's room?
Welcome to Owen's bedroom.
Are you playing with Owen's Legos?
I was just, fixing one of them.
Ooh, I want to play!
Please put the Millennium Falcon down. That's like a 3 million piece set.
No, thank you. I know we don't have the trivia thrown here, but do you have any trivia for me?
Yeah, I can fill in for Owen. You ready?
You know it!
What is going on here?
Trivia on the 10.
Let's go!
Vice President Harris has made history many times throughout her career and may now make history again with the presidential race. Who else in her family has made history? Is it A, her husband, B, her mom, or C, her 2 stepchildren?
Ooh, I'm going to say B, her mom, because moms are basically all superheroes, and she made history because she had Vice President Harris.
The correct answer is A, her husband. Vice President Kamala Harris is married to Douglas Emhoff, known as the Second Gentleman. They made history together as the first female vice president and the first male spouse of the vice president. The role has in the past only been held by second ladies. The wife of the president is called the First Lady. Doug Emhoff is the United States' first second gentleman, and he may soon be the first gentleman. Shout out to the husbands out there.
Okay, I still feel kind of right, but GG's, John. Excellent trivia. Not as good as Owen, but excellent nonetheless.
Thanks, Rye. Now do you want to see where Tracy keeps the good snacks?
I have been waiting for you to ask me that. Let's go! Well, that was fun. Hey, Cap, thanks for having me over. I think I'm good to go.
Ryan, thanks for showing up unannounced, interrupting our summer vacation, and eating all the leftovers.
You are so welcome. I can stay longer if you'd like.
Nope. You can go. I'll leave and give you a ride.
That would be so helpful. You are the best.
Where am I taking you?
New York City. So would you mind packing some snacks? And I already grabbed a pillow from your guest room, so I'm good.
Okay, Ryan, let's go.
Oh, we should also give 10 new snaps to one of our listeners.
Oh, right, we absolutely should. But first, here's a quick note for the grown-ups.
Have you ever wondered who the Mary was from Bloody Mary? If the Loch Ness Monster was real, or if Ouija boards actually worked? On each episode of the family-friendly Unspookable, we look at the histories and mysteries behind your favorite scary stories, myths, and urban legends to get the real stories behind the scares. Want to solve your next mystery? Find and follow Unspookable now wherever you get your podcasts.
Time for 10 news snaps.
A tenor named Flying Ninja 9092 said, quote, I'm a new tenor. I just got back into this when I was still on my flight back home from Orlando all the way back to Richmond, Virginia. Of course, my favorite podcast episode so far, well, for season 5, of course, you know what? I'm going to say, actually, I don't have a favorite. They're all really good. Thank you, Flying Ninja. We are so happy to have you as a tenor. Season 5 will be coming out sooner than later, and FYI, our episodes drop on Thursdays, and if you want some bonus content, you can join the Tenors Club on our website. And to our grown-ups, if you want to help support the 10 News, you can make a tax-deductible donation at the link in our show notes. The whole team thanks you for your support.
The 10 News is a co-production of Small But Mighty Media and Next Chapter Podcasts, and part of the Airwave Podcast Network.
The 10 News creative team is finishing their summer break and getting ready for season 5 and includes Tracy Crooks, Kyle Murdoch, Kareen Katabayan, and Carson Potter. Big thanks to Jonathan Kaplan for contributing to this episode and showing me where to find the good snacks.
Our production director is Jeremiah Tittle, and our executive producers are Donald Albright and show creator Tracy Leeds Kaplan. That's me. I'm Tracy Leeds Kaplan.
And I'm Ryan Willard. Thanks for listening to this 10 News special.